Welcome back, everyone, to the Fly Culture Podcast with me, Pete Tigers. This is another episode where I'm on the road. Wow, June has been busy. Scotland, Sussex, and now I'm in Derbyshire. We've got a night at Mallon and Green, which I'm really looking forward to, but I've come up a day early. I'm going to fish with Geoff Hadley. Then tomorrow, there's an event marking Ogden, who introduced dry fly to the Y. So I'm going to go along to that event, and then I'm going to fish with Damien Robinson, friend of the podcast, as well as Geoff. And then we've got our event. Then I'm going to head back to Devon. So I'm going to talk to lots of people. I'm going to do some fishing. I'm really hoping that I'm able to catch a rainbow trout on a dry fly. So that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the event as well. They're usually really good fun, and it's called Mayfly Madness. So I'm going to be talking with lots of people about mayfly fishing and getting some fishing tips from everyone. So I hope you enjoy this one. I've just arrived at the Peacock. I've had an amazing drive up. Last few road trips that I've done, the traffic has been absolutely horrific. But I've had an amazing run this morning, stopped at Gloucester Services, and I'm ready to rock and roll, basically. So I'm just waiting for Geoff to arrive. We've arranged to meet about 10:30. Then I thought it might be quite civilised to have a cup of coffee, catch up, and then we're going to go and hit the river. The sun's trying to poke through at the moment. There's a bit of cloud, a little bit of a breeze as well, which has been a theme for certainly the last few days, but certainly a fair bit of this year as well. But there's a bit of a breeze around, but hoping there might be some mayfly around. If not, I don't mind. I've got a new rod that I christened just the other day on the tour, and I'm looking to give that another go today as well. So looking forward to what the next few days has to offer, and I'm looking forward to share that with you as well. So I hope you enjoy this episode. As ever, I try really hard to mix the content of these podcasts up, because it's easy to go down a certain route all the time, and after nearly 240 odd episodes, I just want to try and make things a little bit different. And I know people like these ones where we're out fishing and chatting with people. So I hope you're going to enjoy this one. And what I've been trying to do this year is say yes to just about everything I possibly can. So when the opportunity arises, I'm trying to be out and spend time with fellow fly anglers as well. So this one's going to be fun, I think. So I'm looking forward to it greatly. My feet are a little bit wet. I'm standing in a beautiful spot. I've had a good cup of coffee with Geoff. I've just seen a fish go upstream there, actually. Look. Yeah, just so they're there. So, Geoff Hadley, it's great to meet up with you. It's great to be fishing with you. Friend of the podcast, magazine contributor. How are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, very well, thank you. Yes, it's really good to see you again. It's great to actually get out and come and get on the river and wet a line together. I've been really looking forward to this. Yeah.
Me too. What's the plan? And can you tell listeners a little bit about where we are right now?
So we're on the Derbyshire Derwent, on the Peacock at Rowsley, or the Peacock Fly Fishing Club water. And this, the pool we're studying at the moment, we are just downstream in the confluence with the Y. And oh, hello, is that a mayfly?
Yes, it is.
It is, yeah. So yeah, there's two or three sort of really lovely little pools that are just slightly deeper water, separated by really shallow riffles. Lots of cover on the far bank. And these are really nice little pools to sort of fish, and hopefully we might be able to get you a rainbow from that's maybe drop down from the Y.
That would be an absolute dream. And from a fishing perspective, like you say, it's a bigger pool. We're standing on the true right bank as you look downstream. And if you watched Mortimer and Whitehouse, I asked Geoff as we wandered up, because I kind of figured when I watched the programme when they fished and they went in and saw Marie in the shop, and then came down and fished. And I said to Geoff, is this where they fished? He said yes. We've seen one little fish at the tail of the pool move up. You may have caught Geoff saying that he'd seen a mayfly coming off. And this sort of pool, it's quite a long pool, runs against the far bank. It's nice and tree lined as well. Walking down, it was quite windy. And it feels as though we're a little bit more sheltered here as well. How do you like? I'd like to try and catch one of these rainbows if I was really lucky on a dry fly, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. But a pool like this, is there a chance of specking with something big like a mayfly and bringing somebody up? Or how do you like to set up on the conditions that we've got right now?
Oh yeah, I think so, certainly. I mean, I tend to sort of, it's mayfly. Well, we're probably just a little bit behind mayfly time, maybe. I know there was a fall last night, and we've, like you say, we've seen that one. So, yeah, but prospecting with something, there's every chance of bringing them up. Like you say, it's fairly shallow. It's nicely clear. So yeah, like I say, I tend to go for sedges. Tends to be my sort of default on here, or if we can see the little sippers, the sippy rises, midge type patterns, or small olives. But I think there's every chance of bringing something up with something perhaps a little bit larger. I mean, I've often fished certainly on the downstream part of the pool there, or the next pool down. Really, it's nice nymph water. Sort of Euro nymph through that. That usually pulls a few fish up. Or just hanger. Just seen another mayfly come off up there, or hang a nymph off the back of a dry fly and fish through like that. It's the world is our lobster.
That sounds fantastic to me. Well, you had me with mayfly, so I've been sort of chasing the hatches a little bit. That I've been lucky enough to be on the test. That there's a podcast going to be coming soon about that. The Wiley, I caught some fish there. I saw one on the Aberdeen Don as well, and caught some at home as well on mayfly patterns. So it would be kind of nice to see if I can stick with that and see if I get lucky with that. So we're going to give that a little bit of a go, and we'll report back very shortly. I waded out into the spot. I had a look at the fish that I was talking about previously. Just didn't want to play. It was hard on the bottom, and I thought, perhaps they don't want to come up and have a look. Stepped out a little bit further. I saw another fish hard on the bottom, and I'll be perfectly honest that I saw it. Didn't look like, I covered it with the dry a couple of times. There was no way it was looking at it. So I thought, right, okay, well, because the water's so clear, I'm going to just tie on a nymph and see if anyone's home and if that would work. And it didn't. He sort of bugged straight out of there. But while I was sitting watching, saw a fish rise and cast at it, covered it, missed it, cast again, slightly more to the left, and a fish came up and ate it. And it was a beautiful brown trout, really, really pretty, strong fish. Water, having had my hands in the water, feels a little cooler than at home as well. But yeah, I'm really, really happy. So Warren, your mayflies work here too. So that's a few rivers I've caught fish on mayflies that I'm really, really thrilled about. Geoff's been a real gentleman, that he's sitting there setting up a couple of rods and has let me have a little bit of a go. But thanks for being such a gentleman, mate.
It's all right, mate. It's got nothing to do with the fact that I'm chaotic and ridiculous and haven't got set up properly at all. Yeah, no, it's great to see you get one, pal. That was ace. I've thoroughly enjoyed just sitting here and watching you cover that rise. It was great.
Well, we'll see. He's still tying some stuff on, so if I can tie and dry my fly in time, you never know, I might get lucky again. I did see a rise a bit further up as well, so we'll see. But it looks as though Geoff was saying to me earlier that he felt that the hatch was pretty well through, but we were talking about whether the fish would still be interested in eating them and if it's imprinted on their memory. And I know at home sometimes when that hatch, they suddenly switch off it. Suddenly it's just not of any interest to them, despite bugs still hatching or Danica's still hatching. They've no interest in them, but it may be we're not quite at that stage yet. So I'm going to stick with that pattern. I'm going to dry it off and see if we can find another fish and see if I can find one of these rainbow trout. I often talk on here about playing the averages, and what I mean by that, I think, is particularly when I don't know a piece of water so well, I'll probably make changes or change things up a little bit more quickly. So when things started with the fish on the dry fly, I thought great, but as I worked up the pool, it got deeper and faster. It's a beautiful pool, and it felt to me as though probably the dry wasn't going to bring a fish up in there. So at first I hung a fly off the back, and then it made sense to go heavier into the head of the pool there. So what I did was put a bigger, heavier nymph on. I know there is a fashion or a vogue towards smaller nymphs, but I don't mind in that faster water. I don't mind, I think it was a 14 if that, the nymph, but I don't mind that because in that faster water I think the fish has to make that decision really, really quickly. So I don't think they're eyeing up whether it's a 14, 16 or 18 that closely at the moment. Plus there's mayfly around as well. So it's sort of a hare's earie, pheasant tail hybrid sort of thing. So I don't mind from that point of view, from a size point of view. But I don't have indicator or anything. So all I was doing was using anything I could as an indicator. So it might be a knot where the tippet joins the main leader, or it might be the end of the fly line. And I was it's a hybrid of high sticking and Euronymphing, I guess, that I'm looking for any touch or deviation in the line. So I didn't have anything to help from an indication point of view, but I looked for something that would tell me if a fish had eaten the fly. It hadn't anyway, and it's been relatively quiet. The temperature hasn't got up yet. There's still a few bugs around. We bumped into another member who said it's about 3 o'clock time that they really start to warm up. So we're in no real rush at the moment. It's been fun doing that. Geoff's worked. We saw a fish, or I had my nymph on where the Y joins the Derwent, and in the back eddy there, and I'm sure some of the listeners will know this, that a fish rose there, and I shouted to Geoff and I said, have you got your dry on? And I'd given him one of Warren's flies, and I didn't want to throw the nymph at it, and so I sort of reeled in, didn't want to disturb the water too much because the fish is going to be facing me because it's a back eddy. And Geoff crept into position, worked the water perfectly, but no joys there. So I think the plan is probably to wander downstream a little bit. I'm seeing a few more mayflies starting to appear as well, so that's good. And the sun's just crept through some of that heavy cloud now as well, so maybe things come our way. I've not looked at my watch, which I always bloody hell take as a good indication. It's 1:30, so I'd absolutely no idea what the time was, so it's kind of cool from that point of view as well. So I think we're going to walk downstream a little bit and see what we can find. This afternoon session so far has been a case of trying to puzzle everything together, and I had a couple of small fish have a go at me when we went into the new spot, and that's been about it really. Geoff's been working a fish that he's seen rise a couple of times, but hasn't had any joys as yet. But it doesn't look like they're firmly on the maze at the moment. That would be my interpretation of it, but we'll see. I've got to pop off for half an hour, and then I'm going to find Geoff, I suspect, in the same spot. And when I get back, I'm hoping that he's got lucky. Somebody I seem to see a little bit in all the right places. I think he's been on the podcast twice this year already that I've run into him, but it's great to see Adam Price hunt on the river here. Fish that I'd managed not to hit. Geoff said, oh, Adam's on the fish now. I said, well, he's bound to catch it because he's much better than me. And he did, which was wonderful to see. And you're having a few days here, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm staying here for a few days. Luckily enough, the first week of June every year I sort of book off, come up to the peacock waters and just take my time to explore the places and fish both the Wye and the Derwent. And it's been a very different sort of mayfly period this year. With the prolonged stable weather, I think the hatch is sort of stretched out, so we're not seeing the huge concentrations and masses of flies. But the fish are steady, and where flies are hatching, they are slowly keying onto them, and opportunities are always there.
And you said you had some nice evenings as well. When the wind drops, you've had some good evenings.
Yeah, we've been plagued by this strong wind that really plagued the fly hatches and presentation. But in the evenings, even if it's just for an hour or so, where the wind drops, the olive spinners and the mace spinners really sort of react, and it's all go for an hour or two.
Fingers crossed that for tonight. That wind's just got up again. We'd been watching a fish that we'd seen rise before I had to pop off. Geoff saw something down there as just upstream from where we are now, and is casting at that at the moment, so he's working that over. But it would be very rude of me, Adam, and I know when I spoke to you last we were on the Tweed and you were at the Tweed Salmon Festival, which was great fun and great to see you, and then subsequent to that some magic happened for you. And I know we'd been having conversations and I phoned you up and I was explaining about a cast for you well, I can't remember if you were fishing or not, but talked a little bit about the cast, and then I got a lovely message from you just as some magic had happened. Tell us about it.
Oh, so yeah, it's one that'll stay in the memory forever. And I managed to fish up on the Tweed that weekend and didn't catch a fish, and came back and started to think, well, if I can't catch one on the Tweed, when am I going to catch one? And I luckily got an invite off a fellow member of the Peacock, actually, Colin Russ, who said, I've got us a day on the lower Wye below Monmouth. So I took the day off work, joined him, and glanced in the catch return book at the start of the day and saw that it was empty, and thought it's going to be another same old. But lo and behold, swung the fly across the pool, and as soon as it hit the surface, this fish hit like a train and just went off. So yeah, I'm glad he was on hand to net the thing, because I don't know how I'd have done it myself. So congratulations on Colin for sort of being the man there to help me out. But yeah, what an experience.
And I often talk to people on this podcast about salmon fishing, and people who haven't done it before. That moment, that take, when everything comes to life, it's extraordinary feeling, isn't it?
There is absolutely nothing like it, Pete. The pool I was in, I was wading in between really big boulders, really carefully wading down, and I was told at the start to be sort of cautious of the deep channels between the rocks. As soon as I hooked that fish, all safety went out the window, and it was a drug. I was hopping over these boulders like I was in the Grand National, Pete. You know, it all became about landing that salmon. And now I can see why people spend days and days chasing those things, because it is such a drug.
So I guess you're waiting for some rain now, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting for some rain. I thought maybe now I've caught the springer, maybe that sort of urge will die down a bit, but now I like the look of these male autumn fish when they get a big kipe, and I think as soon as the back end comes, I'll be back out after them.
And don't forget grilse in between.
Oh yeah, and I'll be heading over to Wales for some sea trout as well.
Fantastic. Well, we've seen, I think something rose when you were just speaking then, actually. It looked like it might have been an okay fish as well. The friend that we'd been thinking about has risen again, so either Adam or I are going to go down and perhaps make a cast at him and see if we can find a fish. And it's been a really, really interesting, complex afternoon of fishing. The fish haven't given themselves up very easily at all, and that seems to be the theme that comes through. And when I bumped into Adam earlier, he was saying similar, that the wind has been a little bit of an issue, and the fish, seeing consistently rising fish, I think the one that we're looking at now is probably the most consistent rising one that I've seen on the day. So yeah, perhaps we'll give this one a little bit of a go. So that was a war of attrition, right, Geoff? For you got him in the end, didn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, we've been this spot that we were in. You and I fished it for a couple of hours earlier on, didn't we? And we've been off and then come back again, and it's ever such a strange thing that they're rising, aren't they? And it's like one rise and then nothing. But there's mayfly popping off, they're dropping back down, all over the place, and yet it's just a rise every now and again. And it's not even like there's a rise here and a rise there and a rise here. They're in the same place, but just every now and again. And like you say, it's a war of attrition. It's just keep throwing the fly out there and keep throwing the fly out there, and it's not like we're getting refusals. They're just, but when they are taken, it's quite a positive take. So that fish, that I've never been so relieved to catch a very modest-sized brown trout. But it was a case of that fish, in fact, it rose 2 or 3 times. I got the fly to it, and it took, and it was just as simple as that. Oh my word, I'm pleased, because flipping heck, we've worked for these.
Many congratulations as well. And Geoff says, and rightly so, they've not been rising consistently except one little shit that has been rising and rising. And Adam and I, we've seen a fish that's in a happily eating flies that I think we probably could have covered, and I said to him, we're not really interested in that one, and we both agreed no, we're not, because we wanted to try and catch this one. And we've made a bunch of different fly changes, positioning where we were casting, and Adam moved round a little bit further, and then some magic happened, didn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful on this club water that we have fish like this that just consistently rise. There's so much fly life that we have in the river. It's a puzzle on what they're eating. We've seen it take blue-winged dollies. We've seen it sip as if it's on midge or beetle. And we have so many complex flow lines, both here and on the Y, that are so subtle and affect your fly so subtly. And it was only when I changed the angle to slightly downstream, I could see a little bit of flow kicking off a rock. And the first time I landed the fly exactly where I wanted it to be, the fish took.
And it was one of the things that we've been talking about, wasn't it? That we couldn't figure out why the fish wouldn't eat. And then we sort of came to a conclusion, didn't we, that it must have been something in the drift. And it's one of those things, that lovely phrase that we used, micro drag, could have been something like that. And that just the subtlest little change in position. And we've probably, I couldn't even tell you how many casts we've thrown at this thing. And for me, the joy has been at home, we just don't get fish rising as consistently as this. And we've probably seen it rise 25 times, possibly a little bit more. It wasn't a colossal fish, but that didn't matter. It was just really good fun trying to catch that fish. And it was really thrilling to see Adam net that as well at the end, as well as Geoff getting his one as well. And he used the word war of attrition, and it certainly was there, wasn't it?
It certainly is. You sort of spend all winter reading books and polishing your flies and your techniques, and a fish like this just throws it all out the window after 10 minutes. It's sort of the amount of fly changes. I think I started off on about an 18-foot leader. It's probably about 15 foot now. So we've really reeled through the fly changes, but it's such a microcosm of what this venue is. You can enter a pool and just spend an entire day on it, working out the puzzle of separate fish as they rise. So it's a really good place.
Yeah, I'm with Adam on that, and I know Geoff as well, because he's been involved with this, and I've been fishing with him all day as well. So we've seen this, and that's one of the things I love about this. And I didn't catch the fish, but it doesn't matter to me. Being part of that little puzzle and putting that puzzle together has been the thing that has given me such enjoyment. And I'm learning stuff, and it is. I was saying to the guys that I'm only here for a couple of days, and I'm like, ugh! I'm quite frantic with it, but it's still been. It's a deer just gone up there. Deer just a couple of feet away from us. But the excitement of that, and that, sometimes you can go running up the river, and I haven't. I've really enjoyed hanging out with the guys here and watching those fish and figuring it out. And I think that's why I love it, that it's so damn ridiculous. This thing that we do, that we tie something on made of fur and feather that we think the fish may be feeding on, and we have to do this ridiculous thing to propel the fly to the fish, yet when it happens it still makes it so enjoyable. It's 9:30. We've been fishing spent fly, caught a few fish, watched the boys weave their magic, which has been really good fun. I got lucky and had one just at the very end there, and just thought, I've caught my fair share. I've had a great day. I'm absolutely knackered. Geoff and I are going to go and have some chips somewhere or other. But Geoff, great skill, great day. That's what it's about, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, great skill. Flattery will get you everywhere, mate. But yeah, I know it's been grand. It's been such a fun day, and this spinner fall we've had this evening has been fabulous, hasn't it? It's just, I mean, there's mayfly and all sorts of olives dropping down, and I don't think I've seen the like on the Derwent. In all honesty, I've seen big falls of mayfly, and I've seen big falls of sort of olives, but I don't think I've ever seen the two together. So it's been great. Yeah, it's I mean, loads of fun. Yeah, what can you say? I mean, it's special, isn't it? It's a really special place. It's a privilege to be able to come and fish here and experience this. And you know, it's not just the fish and the fishing. You know, you've got the wildlife as well. I mean, we've seen roe deer, and I forgot to tell you, I spoke to hare earlier, just down the way. That hobby we saw was brilliant. I mean, dipper and kingfisher, and you know, I hope anyone who's listening gets the sort of the flavour of this, because it's, so I mean, different gravy they say about Derbyshire, don't they? And it really is. It's just the Haddon Estate waters, the Derwent, the Wye, the Lathkill are really special. I mean, I can't emphasise that enough. It's spectacular to be able to fish here, and tonight you've pretty well seen it at its best. I think it's tricky during the day, but this evening has been magnificent, hasn't it? I mean, it's just great. We haven't seen any of the giants that are in here, but we've had more than enough to keep us occupied. I think it's been great.
Absolutely. And yeah, I just spot where it was just fish mopping up spent and just casting to them, seeing them come and eat it, leisurely lift in the water. They're sitting high in the water, and just a leisurely lift, and you just lift into them. And yeah, it's been great. The rainbow escaped me. I've had a few browns today, but the rainbow escaped me, but perhaps that'll keep just for another day. So I've had a big old breakfast, couple of cups of coffee, and I'm ready to rumble for a day's fishing. But before that, I'm down in Bakewell with friend of the podcast, Jan Hobot. And it's a special day today, Jan. What's going on?
So today is the 5th of June, and every year we celebrate the dry fly rule on Haddon Estate. James Ogden, the pioneer of dry fly fishing in the country, came to Bakewell on the morning of June the 5th, 1865, and showed his artificial dry flies and how they work to the people of Bakewell.
And so you celebrate that, like you say, on the 5th of June. What does that entail then? What have you got to do today?
So since the 150th year, 10 years ago, this being the 160th now, crikey, it's just gone so quickly. So what we have, so the story is James came from the Peacock at Roseley on his horse and cart, came up to the town bridge in Bakewell town centre where we're standing now, and yeah, he showed his artificial mayflies and cast to rising fish and caught them. And because what they used to do was they used to have young boys in the village catching live mayflies, selling them to the clients, or the anglers, coming out of the hotel, who used to whip them on their hooks and use dapping. But the steward of the estate then heard about these artificial flies and thought, wow, what an idea, and he thought they'd never work, and showed the showed them to the people of the town. He caught some fish, and since then we've had the rule got put in place the day after on the 6th of June. So we're here to celebrate that as a tradition. It's a bit of fun. We usually choose a member to come and replicate James's kind of style on that morning. Today we've had a bit of a problem, and the guy that was meant to be doing it sadly has become unwell and gone to hospital, so we're going to break the rules and I'm going to do it.
So no pressure?
No pressure at all. So I didn't want to put it on anyone else actually at 6:30 this morning, so I'm going to give it a good go.
And does that mean you'll be, because I'm looking at the river here, it's quite wide, are you going to be wading in here, or are you doing everything from the bank?
Everything's from the bank. So we are now a dry fly only fishery, but we're also no wading. So it's going to be hard. I think in Ogden's day we had lots of weed here. There's lots of Canadas, and that's since actually put a lot of pressure on the river. There's not much weed left in the river. On the day, on June the 5th in 1865, he actually fell in the river trying to land a fish, and one of the locals shouted, if he hadn't have fallen in, he would have caught all the fish in the river.
So that must be a good sign. So if you do fall in, I take that as a positive, and all's going to go to plan.
Let's hope so, it's raining and it's cold, and I haven't seen a mayfly yet, so you'll see what happens.
There weren't a great deal yesterday as well, so there were a few around, and we caught some fish early on mayflies, but it's wonderful that traditions like this are continuing and being observed as well. So Jan, I wish you the very best of luck, and I'll be cheering you on from the sidelines.
Thank you, Peter.
And also, we've got to say, as I know there's many football fans listen, as the mighty Leyton Orient as well, as my second team, I was heartbroken to see that. You were at Wembley. Have you got over that yet?
I haven't watched the replay. It takes me a while to watch these things. So yes, we'll look forward to next season now.
Fantastic, and hopefully there isn't a replay of you falling in the river as well.
No, I hope I don't fall in the river. Thanks, Vicky.
So I'm about to embark on this evening's part of the trip, and that's visiting Mallon and Green. And we've got an event on, it's a fly culture event. So I'm always nervous at this time. Is anyone going to turn up? So I saw somebody while I was badly parking my van with a fishing jacket on. So perhaps he's coming along. So it might be one person. So we'll wait and see what happens. But I'm going to try and chat to a few of the people there and get a sense of their fishing and what they're up to. In store, there's drinks already. There's people here. It's due to be a 6 o'clock start, but there's been people here from about 5:15. I'm with Sammy, who's member of the Mallon and Green team, who looks after the social media side of things. So if you ever see posts from Mallon and Green, it's Sammy who's behind them. This is another event, and the store's always putting on some fantastic events for local anglers, isn't it?
Yeah, we love a good event. We've got loads. If you ever want to know what's upcoming, we put it all on our social medias. We have an events page on our website. But yeah, we always send out emails. If you're not part of our newsletter, head to our Instagram bio or head to our website and you can sign up there.
Fantastic. And if people want to find, because I think it's really important for a fly shop, people coming in and populating it and buying things, and you get a real sense of what you can buy. But of course you can buy stuff online. So if people want to buy stuff online, where do they find you?
Absolutely. So yeah, mallandandgreen.co.uk. We stock most of what we've got in the shop online, but not everything. So if there isn't anything you find that you sort of want online, drop us a message. We've got a little live chat. Usually takes me about half an hour to reply, but they're normally pretty instant, and we can help you that way.
And what about socials?
Mallon and Green, simple, Mallon, A-N-D, Green.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for having me up here again. Looking forward to tonight.
Me too. Should be a good night.
So, friend of the podcast, Chris Flay, been talking fishing, been talking about a little bit more as well. How are tricks with you? How's your fishing been?
It's been really good, thanks, Pete. Yeah, it's been a good last 3 weeks. Mayfly came a little bit early for us here in Derbyshire, but you spend the time just looking and just taking your time on the banks, and there's some real gems in those rivers there.
It has looked beautiful. And we were saying off mic, I just get a little snapshot into it, a little bit about the culture and the fishing, and it's a really special place here, isn't it? And it extends beyond the fish themselves as well.
Yeah, it does, and we've said it on previous podcasts. It's a little hub for us all here. Today we're in Mallon and Green. This morning we've all been to the Ogden Day doing the dry fly. Unfortunately, well, I won't go in there for Jan later. He can tell his story. But yeah, there's a good group of young, middle, and elderly gentlemen, women here, and we're all good friends. We all chat, we all share stories, what's going on, how the rivers are fishing. We all want everyone to catch fish. So it's just a really nice place to be.
And like you say, this is a wonderful hub for it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, you can just look at it now. It's nearly 6 o'clock in the evening. The place is buzzing. It's got everything you need in here, from clothing to dog biscuits to tippet, hooks, beads, everything you see you could need for a day out on the water with you or your pet.
Well, it's great to see you, mate. Have a good evening. Behave, first and foremost,
Always.
as well, yeah. And, like you say, it's 6 o'clock and there seems to be a bunch of people. I always have this worry beforehand that nobody's going to turn up, but it seems though it's going to be all right. It was about 9:30 last night that I bumped into Ellie, who'd been fishing. She'd seen Adam Price hunt, and they'd been fishing together, and we were packing up. Geoff and I were packing up, and we bumped into her as well. She's still here. She's been fishing hard. How's it going, Ellie?
Not too bad. My trip did begin with me falling face first into the river at midnight. Wasn't even drinking. And yeah, started that way, ended with 2 fish today. It was very, very slow. They've been looking at mayflies, not really doing much else.
And how often do you fish up here?
I try to get up at least for the mayfly each year, and then whenever else I possibly can. Not regularly, but regularly enough.
And we're not going to name where you fish at home because you were telling me about it last night, but that sounds pretty cool. But where else do you like to visit?
There's a nice little bit of the River Lambourne that's got grayling that I like fishing. And then wherever else takes my fancy, really. Up here is probably my second favourite place, other than my home water.
There's nothing like home, right?
Yeah, I do love my home water. It's my special little happy place.
Fantastic. Well, have a great time tonight.
Thank you, and you.
It's always an absolute pleasure to see Don Stasica, somebody I look up to greatly, along with the writing that he does with Peter Hayes and how they're pushing trout fishing forward in such a wonderful, detailed way. Don, great to see you. How's everything with you?
That's really great, thanks, Pete. Just been out shooting an article for trout and salmon. It doesn't get much better than having 8.5 pound rainbow on the first fish. So yeah, a little bit of mayfly madness there for you. We've been really pleased with the book. Paul Morgan's company, Cockybundu Books, have done a great job printing it. I was a bit concerned, whether anyone could print it well enough to show the details and the photos we'd taken. But they've done a great job, and so far we've managed to sell 3/4 of the first printing.
Many congratulations on that. I have to say I'm not surprised in the slightest about that. And it's a wonderful book that I enjoy dipping in and out of. And I get something from it every time rather than sitting down and working through it. And is that one of the things that you thought about when you put it together as well?
Well, to be honest, no, but I know exactly what you mean. I think there's a lot of information in there, and that dipping into it is the way to do it, because if you try and read it from start to finish and remember it, well, you won't manage it, because there's 10 years of research in there. It took us a long time to formulate it. It'll take people a bit of time to absorb it, I think.
Well, many congratulations with it. We'll fingers crossed that the rest of the run goes, and it goes into a second, third and fourth editions as well. So
second edition's just been printed. There's 2,000 of those have just come into the country. So yeah, get it while it's hot.
Many congratulations. So in one hand, I've got a big fajita full of spicy beef, cheese and everything else. I've got a white top on, so it's quite high risk that it's probably going to go down the front of me. But I've been watching for a while, and I managed to see Paul Gaskell. Paul's just back from family holiday. But how's things with you?
Very well, yeah. I think the rest and recuperation certainly was overdue, perhaps, shall we say. I'm still slightly discombobulated from the travel, but a great break, and I'm looking forward to... Now we've had some rain in Derbyshire and South Yorkshire, looking forward to getting back into some fishing over the next, hopefully, several days. So I'm guiding an auction lot for the Wild Trout Trust tomorrow on the Derwent in Derbyshire, so we'll see how much water comes down in between. I've got a few backup plans if needed. But yeah, I'm enjoying life, enjoying my fishing.
Well, I've been on the Derwent, so you'll be absolutely safe. So that's so you're going to be fine from that point of view. But that's great, and yeah, Damien and I were caught in a heavy downpour. We just packed up and thankfully got back to the car as the rain started. But do you sort of find the break helps you reset again and you're ready to go, or are you always really thinking about the river?
I think the enforced family time in the nicest possible sense is a really good thing for that kind of mental reset, because if you're involved in any capacity in doing things within the fishing industry in any way, there is always a danger of what is your passion, your love, and that kind of thing. It can get tied up a little bit too much with the need to sort of like meet the needs of clients or customers or people like that, rather than always remembering what drew to it in the first place. So I think those occasional resets are actually really good for the soul and very good certainly for the mental well-being as well. So I am clearly, you get an itchy trigger finger if you can't get on the water for a period of time. So I've definitely got that, and that always just helps give a real good boost to the motivation as well. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I hope the trip is a good one.
Thank you very much. I'm sure it will be.
Managed to catch up with Marie Mallon, and I want to thank her first of all for the food, because that was amazing. I just had a massive beef fajita, which is fantastic. I managed to interview Paul Gaskell holding it, trying not to eat it at the same time, but thank you for that first of all. 3 years, many congratulations on Mallon and Green.
Thank you so much, Pete. And without guys like yourself, all the guys that are here tonight, we wouldn't be where we are, and we're continually humbled by that. And what a night. It's already filling up a treat. I think it might be standing room only after this seating, so it's a good problem to have.
It is. I always worry, and I recorded a section before I came in saying I always worry that nobody's going to turn up, but it's wonderful to see people, and it's wonderful that people want to come along and support what you're doing. And we use this word community a lot. We use the word a hub, but you really are a shining beacon in actually doing that and bringing people together in a positive way. You must be incredibly proud 3 years down the line that you're doing this and it continues to grow.
I mean, absolutely. And I think myself, John, and the team, we were building this business without knowing it. Credit to Orvis. We kind of pioneered events with Orvis, and that kind of grew, and it kind of built this fantastic community, this real loyal community, and it mattered to us, and it matters to our customers and who are friends. And so, yeah, this is what we're all about. It's fantastic.
And it seems though everyone, I watch everyone walk in and everyone seems to know each other, which again is fostered in places like this, which is the buzz and the feel is absolutely fabulous. So, yeah, it's looking fantastic. I've bought some stuff today and I'm going to shout it out in a minute because I think it's really, really good. But what's new? What can people look out for right now?
Oh, what's new? Okay, there's quite a lot new this season. First and foremost, I would say probably the Patagonia waders we've invested heavily in. Brand new range of waders from Patagonia. And these guys have been 3 decades making waders. So they're really perfecting something quite special right now. And the range that they've got, which we're carrying the full range of, as I say, 3 decades of building waders. They've had 30 hardcore testers of these waders in the industry that have put these waders to some serious testing. Speaking of testing, they've had 70 prototypes that they've tested before they've come to what they are happy with. And my word, what a range of waders these really are. They're built for some serious wading. So, yep, waders from Patagonia. We've also got some new rods and reels, either en route or sat in store as we speak. So we've had a lot of new rods and reels from Witchwood. Diamondback rods, we've got some Thomas & Thomas rods. We've also got the new range of the Vision rods as well that have been selling super. Outside of the angling, we've got obviously Yeti product, which we continually evolve with Yeti. They're always bringing us something new, something super innovative, and goodness me, what fabulous products. And we're always including the new collections, the new colour collections, and my goodness, aren't we all Yeti addicts becoming? Product-wise, we've also got the Sealskins edition, which we've only recently added. We've extended the dog range as well, because many of our anglers do have four-legged friends. So we've invested there also. And lastly, probably the Carhartt clothing. So we listen to our anglers when they tell us we're not always angling, we'd like something a little bit outside of angling clothing as well, that doesn't quite need to be performance, but needs to be smart, needs to be fit for purpose. So we've included quite a good range of the Carhartt clothing, which seems to be going down a storm. But we're never settling, we're listening to you guys all the time. If you've any feedback about something you want to see, let us know. And I think, as Sam's already said, not everything's on the website. Let us know. Most things we can usually get within 2 to 3 days.
Fantastic. You've got all the details from Sammy as well, so it's great news from that point of view. And the waders I've been wearing, and I think they're outstanding. And we were talking off mic earlier, and Fran and Lenny over at Patagonia, it's not just the gear, it's the people. And the people there are good people. I think the price of them is good as well. I've got no vested interest in it other than being a happy user of it. But and I've been fishing the Lathkill today. I've spent most of the afternoon on my knees. They've got knee pads built into them as well, which is fantastic. They're environmentally friendly as well, so they've worked on that. So that's definitely worth a shout out. And you saw that I spent a fair bit of money on some leaders today that you have, that I don't know many people have as well. So tell me about those. So something I've really liked, and I alluded to when I was talking to Marie, was the Trout Hunter leaders. And I bought some tippet as well today. I've stocked up because I've not seen many people that actually stock them, so I'm a very big fan of those. But what made you choose those, John?
It was sort of a conversation with Don Stazica when I first saw we could get them in the store. And he said, "Oh yes, if you can get them. They're absolutely superb." He'd use them over in New Zealand, and he loved. There was a 14-foot Rennie Harrop, which seems to be the go-to for around here. If anybody wants to be into long leaders, they're 14 foot long and do turn over incredibly well. They also do some 8 and 10 foot conventional leaders. And there's also one which has proved very popular for around here, is the Finesse, which is a really thinner butt, dark grey in colour, and they're doing 9 and 12 foot as well. So they've proved they've taken a while to get into them, but now they have. Everybody's really likes them for the rivers around here anyway.
Makes perfect sense that Don's been championing them as well, and I bought some last time I was up, and I've been using them. And like you say, the key word is turnover. They turn over fantastically well. So yeah, I'm really happy to be using those. So thank you for that. And I'm going to try the tippet out as well, John. And it's John Green of Mallon and Green, because I didn't introduce him properly there. But 3 years, many congratulations. What you guys are doing for fly fishing and your local community is absolutely outstanding. So many congratulations. Long may it continue.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the support as well over the 3 years.
So Marie, the food was absolutely outstanding. I've enjoyed a fajita with some spicy meat in and all sorts of lovely stuff, cheese. Who do we thank for that?
Oh, it's certainly not John and I. All creds there to Dave Tyson, who has painstakingly been chopping and preparing pretty much for the most of the day. So I'm glad everybody's enjoying it.
Don't get to see him very often. I used to see him in Devon, and there's a beautiful backstory to this, that Steve Dalby, I used to guide a little bit. He used to come down to the West Country, and I was heading off somewhere, I think it was Montana, and Neil Patterson came down to write something for Fly Fishing Fly Time, and I wasn't going to be around. So I said, well, speak to Steve, he knows where to go. And the two of them went out, and it must have been about 13 years ago. And as a result of that, a friendship was formed. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it, Steve?
Yes, it was a strange one. I was sat on the top beat on the Fox and Hound stretch. This chap came bounding over the stile. Hello, I'm Neil Patterson. Basically said, can we fish together? So I said, yeah, okay, fine. I had heard of Neil through the books in his writings. So we fished together for the 3 days that he was there. We struck up a relationship, a friendship. He said, you must come down and fish on the Kennet with me and all this sort of stuff. And I thought, yeah, this is what everybody says. And with about 2 or 3 weeks after I got back, he sent me a load of photographs. He invited me down to fish on the Kennet, on the Wilderness, where if you've read his book, which is where he has a cottage. That was, I think, 11 or 12 years ago now. And since then, we fish together every year. We stay at each other's houses. I've met famous people through Neil. I go to the Fly Fishers Club. I know his wife really well. It's just been a most amazing adventure for me. And that's all down to you, Pete.
That's only because I went to Montana.
Maybe it was. But we've had some great times. And Neil is now a very good friend. In fact, I was speaking to him yesterday because we were arranging a trip. I'm going down to the Kennet. I'm bringing him back up here. We're fishing here, we're fishing the Kennet, and then I'll take him back home. And that's a week in July. So it's just worked out amazingly well. And he's a lovely, lovely man. He really is a lovely man. Very generous. He's a superb caster and a very good fisherman. So I think he's told me he's off to the Spey tomorrow. So he'll enjoy that too. So yeah, it's been a really, really lovely, lovely experience, and long may it continue. We're now really, really good friends. So it's great.
I always talk about connecting people, and didn't realise that we were doing it for such a long time as well. So it's wonderful to hear that. Thank you for coming tonight. I'm sort of trying to figure out in my mind what I'm going to say next now. So I'm going through that process at the moment. So that's good. But Steve, it's always a pleasure to see you. And thank you so much for coming tonight.
No problem. It's always nice to see you.
It's funny who you bump into at these things as well. George, we did some fishing on the tour, I think it was last year, which was really good fun. And he was just sort of kind of getting into fly fishing. Next I see he's in New Zealand, and he's showing me pictures of just about everywhere he's fishing. George, where haven't you fished?
Yeah, well, very fortunate to have had sort of the first part this year off on a sabbatical. So I went to New Zealand and then I went to Patagonia, mainly fishing. So I told people at work that I was going with my backpack and 2 fishing rods, and they thought I was a bit crazy. But yeah, I've had a really good few months. Still off for a couple more weeks, back home in Derbyshire at the moment. So yeah, and looking forward to being back in the UK and doing a bit more fishing here.
And what's the plan? Is it going to be hard to go back to work?
Yeah, I think it'll hit me quite hard. I'm going back on a Wednesday, so that'll be good. Ease back in, but no, I should pick up where I left off, I think. Yeah.
And what's the last few fishing plans that you've got now?
Well, I've just been up in Scotland. I had a day on the Annan, and then I went up to Arisaig and fished up there. Not got any plans for the next couple of weeks, so I'll see what I can do. I'm unfortunately got to leave Derbyshire tomorrow, but I'll get back in Bristol to my Little River Avon, and then maybe come down and see you in Devon as well, hopefully.
That's a date.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting sort of getting to fishing a bit later. I grew up around here, 20 miles from here, and I didn't fish as a kid, but I grew up in these beautiful rivers, so it's nice to come back up and meet these folk, and then when I come up and see my family, sort of get out for a day. So yeah, meeting some nice people tonight, which was good. Yeah.
This has been a really fun trip. Encapsulates, for me, everything I love about fishing. The people, the rivers, the fish. That's why I love this so much. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Fly Culture Podcast. As ever, there's going to be plenty more coming very, very soon. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for the messages that I received from everyone. And on the recent Scottish road trip podcast, the gentleman I saw on the Clyde, he listens to the podcast and sent me a message. So that was wonderful to hear from him as well. So I was really pleased about that. But of course, there'll be another episode coming very, very soon. Thanks so much for listening.
The Fly Culture Podcast is brought to you in association with Fly Culture, a quarterly published magazine owned and run by fly anglers. When it comes to fly fishing, we've got you covered.